Hi, my name is Purvi Patel, and I am a senior at Western Kentucky University. And this semester of 2013 in the spring, I had the opportunity of interning with Fulbright, Belgium. And Fulbright is, everyone in America, they say that it's a very prestigious honor to get, and it's a scholarship that sends students from the United States to various different countries around the world to pursue research, to pursue and postgraduate studies and degrees, and it's funded by the State Department through the Fulbright Scholarship and Fulbright grants. And it's not only for students, but it could be for researchers and lecturers and teachers. Reciprocally, students from other countries are allowed to go to the United States to pursue their studies as well. So I had the opportunity of interning with Fulbright Belgium and got a little insight on how Fulbright operates, especially in other countries and in Belgium. And the experience that I had was absolutely amazing, and it was great to see the Fulbright office and the Fulbright Scholarship and organization work with the 5 principles of service learning, including partnerships, reciprocity, capacity building, sustainability, and reflection. So first, partnership. When I got to work with Fulbright, it was key in continuing to get funding and continuing to get students to go to the United States from Belgium. Especially important in Belgium because the Fulbright Scholarship has an additional Fulbright Schumann Scholarship here that allows students to study EU policy. And so creating these partnerships for Fulbright, the United States, and the EU, and Belgium, and then various different organizations and companies that donate to Fulbright for scholarships was great to see how they work with one another to pursue one goal, and that is to get funding for students to continue the higher education in the United States. Secondly, reciprocity. What people get out of their scholarships when they study, they give back an equal amount. And so I got to see how the stipulations for pursuing their education and how they worked. For example, Belgian citizens that go to the United States are required, once they complete their studies at the university of their choice in the United States, to come back and stay for 2 years, at least 2 years, before they can go anywhere else. And so this just shows that, yes, Belgians are getting a great education, higher education at an American institution, but they have to come back and reciprocally give back to Belgian society the knowledge that they obtained while they were in the United States. So I think that's great that they have that rule, and because they don't just leave and go on and go to the United States and stay there, but bring their knowledge back and reciprocally give it back to their country and their citizens, their people. Third, the idea of capacity building. I think this notion is what the entire Fulbright Scholarship entails, because students get to go to the United States from Belgium, and they build capacity in that they get a whole other just broad spectrum of knowledge from an American institution, which is completely different than the Belgian system. The liberal arts are, I think, very important in the United States, and getting that entire general education is not really pushed for in Belgium or in other countries outside of the United States. So I think that the studies that they get to take in the United States gives them this whole other way to build capacity, in that they get education in all aspects and not just, for example, the sciences or the maths that they're trying to pursue. So I think it definitely builds this whole another notion of knowledge, in that they can now have a whole general education and bring it back to Belgium. Sustainability. So this is always a huge, huge issue, in that anything and everything that we do, how do we sustain it? How do we keep it long term? How do we continue? And so I think with Fulbright, it's so great to see all their alumni continue to give, continue to grow. And that's the key in why it's continuously funded and the State Department continues to fund it, because these students, they get in lecturers and teachers and scholars, they get this education, they gain this insight when they come to the United States, they come back, but then they don't stop there. They're basically, the United States invests money into these people because they know that they're going to grow continuously, with more lecturing, with more education, and then they're going to give. And so I think the idea of them giving back to society in whatever field they choose to pursue, it's definitely sustainable, because that knowledge that they have is then given and passed on to other students if they decide to teach, to their jobs if they decide to get a job, a company, and they contribute to journals and articles and periodicals in whatever field that they choose to pursue. And so I think that that's definitely great. And then they give back. The donors, the greatest number of donors to other scholarships are Fulbright alumni themselves. So I think it keeps not only the scholarship and the organization going and sustainable, but I think in general with education, it's sustained because these people continuously give back in their fields, their jobs, their companies, and schools and universities worldwide. Lastly, with reflection, I think that reflection is always important when dealing with anything, any job, any organization. But with Fulbright, this is key, especially with applicants, because they're required to submit an extensive application, and the core and heart and meat of it is their essay and why they choose to pursue to go to the United States and what they think that what they're going to do. And so I think that with reflection, that's what it shows, is why, and why should they select you. And so with all the applicants, I think it was great to just read why they wanted to go and what they wanted to do beyond just gain this, quote, let's say, education at Harvard or Yale, but what will they do with it in the future, and how can they use these other 4 things that we've talked about: partnerships, reciprocity, capacity building, sustainability. How will their projects lead to them furthering skills and furthering, I think, innovation and definitely education worldwide. And so my experience at Fulbright was great, and absolutely never stopped learning. And to see how an organization, just one organization such as Fulbright, can expand and use these tools of service learning, that's just one example. So other organizations, companies, fields of education should learn from this and incorporate these 5 tools, because I got to see it happen here. And this is why this Fulbright scholarship and grant continues to grow and continues to be sustained, because they use these aspects within their daily tasks, within the application, within the students. So I thoroughly enjoyed my experience with Fulbright, and this is how Fulbright gives and takes with the 5 concepts of service learning.